Good morning.
Morning!
Good morning, everybody. And welcome back to What the Hell is Water?
It's been a while.
It has been a while. Do you remember how to do this thing?
No,
Yeah.
just making it up as we go, as always.
Yes. Hey, look, we got in the chat. We got a Scott shout out saying they're back. All right.
Nice.
Good to see you, Scott. Thanks for joining us today. Man, so, you think you do 93 episodes of a thing, and then you would remember how to do the thing, but it's been a little while. It's been a couple of months, so we thought a good first episode for us to start off with would be talking a little bit about what we've been up to.
What the hell we've been up to?
Yes, I like it. So, anything you think we should say about the first 93 episodes before we talk about what we've been up to?
I mean, that's like way too much to summarize in an on-the-spot. I have so many things to say about the first 93 episodes, but you're just going to have to wait to see all of the, clips and quotes and whatnot on social media coming soon. So
I like that. Nice recovery.
Well there
you go. So for today, we wanted to just kind of keep it low key and chat with you guys about what we have been up to. So, we stopped the show. I want to say a few weeks ago, but now it's been more like a couple of months ago. And while we stopped the show was had gotten to be where, all right, we got the show down. We are doing that every morning, but we want to make sure that we're going in the right direction, focusing on the things that we need to be focusing on. And so we took a few weeks to do a little bit of that, also work a lot on some of our behind-the-scenes systems. But before I dive more into that, I remembered what we did right before our hiatus on our last week. We did something called Learn to Cook to Impress a Date. So that last week we did a couple of What the Hell's Water shows, and then we did Learn to Cook to Impress a Date. And I think that was also a good impetus and a good timing because we were pretty exhausted after that week. Do you remember that week?
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I was going to say, I feel like that was maybe played a factor into the initiation of the break from What the Hell is Water, because we were already live streaming for an hour plus every day that week doing that series. So, and then it's like, well, all TV shows take a break in between seasons and, evaluate and make sure that like you're going the direction you want to go, like you said. So yeah, I think that it made sense to.
Well, cool. Well, for those people who have no idea what Learn to Cook to Impress a Date is, well, why don't you tell them what it is?
Yeah. So we, I guess the initiation for that project was we have our online course, Kickstart Your Kitchen. And we wanted to find a way to get people like a preview of the kind of cooking that we do in the course, and like very low key on the spot. We have 3 or 4 different meals that we cook in real time in the course. And watching some of our favorite YouTubers, we were seeing people comment like, oh, I love this, but I really want to see like how long it actually took you to cook this and see it in real time. We're like, well, cooking live is our specialty. So we made this series where it's 5 days of cooking something different every day, and then kind of putting the different formulas and methods that you're learning together by the end of the week to make that like final meal on Friday that we did. So day 5 is kind of putting all the other days together and showing you how like, we just on the spot can make a impressive looking, but hopefully simple feeling meal. And, not just for a date, like take yourself on a date. That works too.
Yeah. And, you may have said this, but I might've been distracted in my own head, but it started out, we did Learn to Cook to Impress a Date live that week back in February, I believe it was. Yep. Right after.
It was Valentine's
Day week. Yeah. And But now, obviously, it's in the past. So how do people try and participate in that now?
Yes. So the grander purpose for doing that week of live streams was to have this series recorded, and now it's totally free. It's like a free intro to the home cooking content we create. You get a discount off of the online course from joining the free challenge. And you can go to learntocooktoimpressadate.com and enter in your email, and then you'll start getting you'll get the welcome email that'll have the grocery list and the equipment list that you'll need from your kitchen. And then each day's email after that will also have the equipment you need for that specific day, what we're making, and the ingredients to grab from your grocery list. So
yeah, and it is we have it set to send out one a day. So that way, if you want to keep the same pace that we kept during that week, you can. But if that doesn't make sense for your schedule, or you want to take it a little bit slower or whatever, you can totally do that. And that's the nice thing about it, is we saved it. We have it now forever. Yes. And we'll send it out once a day. So you have that, but you can always schedule it to be whenever you want. And I encourage you guys, if you're not going to do it that day, then pick a day. Put it on your calendar and make an appointment to do it, or snooze it using, if you have Gmail, you can snooze an email until another day. But if there's one thing that I've found true is that if I don't put it on my calendar, it doesn't happen. And I used to say that was mostly just true for me, but now I've come to think that that's true for most people.
Yep.
So don't just save it for someday. Pick a day when you're going to do it. And the nice thing is for all of these, like, if you want to take a really active role, you can, and you can be there doing it all right alongside us. If you want to watch it a little bit more just for entertainment purposes, to try and get your feet wet, you can do that too. But really, the main thing about teaching you guys how to cook is that if you're not cooking, then you need to have some sort of way to apply it. We watch all you want, but at some point you got to get in the kitchen. And that's why we're here today. A little later than normal, or not normal, but yes, it is later than normal. Little later than normal, not having done all of the things we've wanted to do or said we would do. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to show up anyways, and you just start somewhere. And guess what? The beauty of cooking is it can start as simple as a couple of pieces of white bread and a slice of cheese, and if you put it all together, I call that cooking.
Yep.
And Danielle calls that her lunch every day. No, I'm just kidding.
Mac and cheese. Just add some butter and noodles.
Bread and cheese. You know, somewhere in there.
There you go.
So that was Learn to Cook to Impress a Date. And then the other thing, just to mention, in case you're just now listening to What the Hell is Water for the first time, welcome to season 2. I guess we had a really long season, not like most TV shows or most anything. There's usually not 93 of something in the first season, but there are 93 episodes of What the Hell is Water. And so as we go into this next exciting chapter, if you haven't already, make sure to go check out some of those past 93 episodes. And we've done some work on our end to get those shows ready for you guys to digest in smaller chunks, and so we'll tell you guys a little bit more about that in a second. But regardless of how chunky we are or how chunky you are, make sure to go listen to some of these episodes. And the biggest thing that you guys can do to help us today, which we'll ask more of you later because we're good about that sometimes, is to listen, share, and get involved either in the Learn to Cook to Impress a Date challenge or by Kickstart Your Kitchen. And also ask us questions, engage with us. We are here to help you guys. One of the things that we've been doing, over the past few months, but over the past year especially, is getting all our chops ready to be able to create and produce whatever it is that you guys need to teach you guys what you need to know, when you need to know it, hopefully even before you need to know it. So by you guys telling us what the things are that you're struggling on or struggling with, or what you're striving to do, some type of change you're looking to make in your life, that helps us figure out what we're going to teach next. So please let us know in the comments down below. You can go to our website, helpfulforlife.com, and hit the Contact Us button in the top right, which is there, this season for sure. Last season, one time we were like, hey, go do that. And then one point was like, hey, where's the button? I was like, oh, whoops.
That was probably like 35 episodes in.
Yeah. Some way back.
No big deal. That's why we do this. Like when you were talking about the cooking, like if you're not in the kitchen cooking, then like that's not the goal of the cooking videos we're trying to make. So if we are not producing What the Hell is Water, then that's not the whole purpose of it, because we started going live just to start forcing ourselves to put something out there. Because as procrastinators, if we have the time to try and perfect something or like put it off, then we will. So
yes. We do all of these things. And so speaking of perfect, one of the other things we've done in the last few months is have some time with our new first employee. So now is the time where we talk about him a little bit, pretending he's not just about 5 feet that way, staring at us, just making weird faces. How long do you think it's been since we've had this guy along beside with us now?
I think his first week was Learn to Cook to Impress a Date.
That same week or 1 week before that? Oh, what a week! Yeah, that was yeah. That's when it all started to continue.
Yeah.
So yeah, so now we've had a few months now, I guess. And man, what a few months they've been. You know, one of the comments Kenny made the other day was, "I think I've done more in the past few months than I had in the past few years combined," or something along those lines. And yeah, that's one of the things that you can't accuse our lives of not being, which is I don't know, just having a lot going on. We managed to keep ourselves busy both in our personal and professional pursuits. So I don't know, when it comes to the last few months of time, is there anything in particular that jumps out at you that you want to share?
Um, do we want to run our intro reel?
Oh,
Possibly,
that's a
maybe.
good point. You know, it's been a while since I've done
Yeah.
this. So, you know, why don't we now now that we have had quite the intro, let's have our intro. Helpful for life. And welcome to What the Hell is Water. I'm Reed Garcia, the founder and CEO of Helpful for Life.
And I'm Danielle Garcia, his wife, and working on my first novel.
And also our, you know, we redid Kenny's title. So if you haven't seen our homepage, go to helpfulforlife.com and you can see just a little short bio and title. We haven't updated Danielle and mine in a while, but Kenny's we just updated to Lieutenant Dam. And you're going to have to go read on our website to see what that means. Speaking of Lieutenant Dam, since that is a movie reference, since that is a movie reference, I want to make sure to tease, not 100% sure on the day, but maybe Friday, but hopefully someday later this week, we're going to be doing an exciting episode of What the Hell is Water on movies. I have a couple of special guests that we'll be having on to talk about the 10 movies that everyone should see. That was the prompt that I gave these people, and just to tease it a little bit more, there's one person who is just an average Joe who's liked movies and TV shows for a while, a cinephile, if you will. There's another person who's a film major and also has a lot of experience watching things. And then there is...
I've got that.
Yeah. And then there's one other person who may be coming along who is actually an actor themselves. So it should make for an interesting thing. You know, we kept the prompt very broad so people could interpret it however they want. Do they want you to make sure to see like a couple of movies from each genre? Do they want you to see certain ones that make you feel certain ways, think certain ways, or maybe it's just their personal favorite and it's not even objectively good?
Right. That's like where my mind started. Because when you said the prompt, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm already thinking about my 10 movies that everyone must see. And I'm like, oh, but my reasons for you must see this is because I really like it a lot.
Which is a valid reason, and that's why we kept the prompt so vague so people could interpret it however they want, and I think it'll make for some interesting discussion. So for those of you at home, I encourage you guys to come up with your own list of 10 movies you think everyone should see. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. So yeah, look forward to that later this week. But that that's probably a good. Oh, you know what? I'll tease it tomorrow later. How about that?
Okay.
Trying to decide the order of things here. So with our first employee, Kenny, also known as Lieutenant Dam, it's been a good system for us. It's been a good time for us the last few weeks as we've worked to figure out a little better of what it's like for us all to be working together. Kenny being full-time now, me being full-time, Danielle working about half-time or so, as she also works on her novel, which check Danielle's stuff out at daniellemgarcia.com, and also follow her on the socials and things like that. But as we've started to have a little more time meaningfully working towards projects and goals, it's been really nice to have Kenny around because Kenny came from a background of database and quality assurance. And basically, one of the things he did was he checked the code, the programming before things went live, so he could figure out all the things, all the errors that needed to be made, and think through all the possible situations. And so that's been very good for us, as we are very much a systems-based, systems thinking company. So we don't just think about, oh, how do we do this thing once? We think about, all right, if we're going to keep doing this over and over and over again, what are all the things that could go wrong? What's the checklist we need to make? How do we do it in a way that's reproducible? And also, how do we write it in a way where anyone could do it without much training? And so having Kenny along has been great as we've worked to develop our processes and things like that, which sounds boring, but are extremely important. And then one of the things we've been working on, which the name I just came up with last night, is the ETM. It's kind of like an ATM where you go to get money, except it's the expertise transfer machine. Yeah, so we'll see if that name sticks or not. But the expertise transfer machine, the ETM, and what that is it's a fancy way of saying, I've noticed, especially in recent weeks, that one of the things I've been working on and thinking about and focusing on over the last few years is, what is the most efficient way to get information and expertise out of one person and into another person? And doing it in a way, if you think about the Matrix, you just like kind of plug in and transfer it over. Or if you guys have seen the show Chuck, you just flash a bunch of images and it kind of transfers over, and the next thing you know everything. But unfortunately, that's not quite where we're at with our technology yet. So until we get to that point, we've been focusing on how do you basically have conversations with experts. And one thing to know is that what is an expert is not what everyone would immediately define it as. A lot of us don't realize just how much expertise we all gain, just going through our everyday lives and going through our jobs and things like that. And one of the things about when you get into online education is you realize that, hey, as long as you know a little bit more on a subject than the person you're teaching, like, you are an expert to them. You are helping them progress in their journey on that subject. And so what our system is as we've worked on 93 live episodes of What the Hell is Water, and a lot of our other ventures, is we've done a pretty good job of figuring out how to get the camera and the audio and things like that right. Naturally, that's important. But also, how do we take the little tidbits out of the conversations that we have? And how do we get those tidbits shared in a way to where people can engage with those little tidbits before hopefully going to engage with the larger piece? And so that's where we came up with this fancy ETM, which is one of the ways of saying that we've made a clipping system. And so right now, as the show is going on, there might be a funny moment where it's just like, oh, Danielle, did you hear that one about the shirt? And then Danielle laughs.
Ha 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 ha.
And then our producer presses a button. And this is where it's supposed to be like a funny clip. And so, haha, funny. And so now he's pressed a button over there. And now we have a database where every time he's pressing these buttons, we're saving record of all these clips. So later on, after the show, later on today, we can take all of the clips that we generate from the show and then share them on all of the platforms. And doing that, we're going to basically take over the world.
At least YouTube.
Yeah, at least YouTube. So, all right, enough about the expertise transfer machine, Danielle. Why don't you tell people about our little friend Mike?
Oh, Mike's my favorite. So, basically, it wasn't that long ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Reed was like, "Hey, I have this recording. Just sit here and put on these headphones and close your eyes and listen to it." And he's like, "It's about 8 to 9 minutes." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So I sit down and I put on the headphones, and then it sounds like I'm walking with Reed as he's going outside to take Lincoln out on a walk. and you can hear like, oh, the door creaks open, and then as you step through it, your footsteps change, and you hear like the birds chirping over here, and Lincoln's leash jangling over here as he's sniffing something on the sidewalk, and so basically it's what is it called, binaural, a binaural microphone where it sits in your ear cavity. So literally like the sound that you hear in your eardrums, it's bouncing off the inside of your ear, this microphone is picking up exactly that, and like directionally and how far something away sounds. So it's like you're in 3D sound space, and it would be really cool. We also will pair with like video stuff, but I'm thinking it would be really cool to make some like walking meditations and, just basically really, really fun, high quality audio content.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we have two kinds of binaural microphones that we've gotten. One is a kind that sits right inside the outer ear, I guess. I don't know where exactly this is called, but it sits right next to your ear hole. And because of the fact that it sits right next to your ear hole, as Danielle is saying, it sounds just like you're there. And because the sound actually bounces off of these little curves in your ears, and it makes it sound a certain way, and that's a part of what helps you know what direction things come from. Which, fun fact for you, in case you didn't know, when dogs have their ears, that's how they can kind of like turn their ears. They combine that with the little curves on their ears to figure out where things are coming from. And a little experiment. There's actually a Smarter Every Day video on this that we'll share a little later, where they actually put Play-Doh on the inside of this kind of upper part of your ear, and then they kind of test you like, hey, can you figure out where I am? And then
you're all discombobulated.
You like, the person was blindfolded and they like point, and it's like, no, not over there, because you just can't tell because you're so used to where it comes from because of the bouncing, whether or not you think about it, right? So anyway, so we have one that sits right there, and then we have another one that is literally a pair of silicone ears that has a microphone in each ear, and that's the one we call Mike because it's two microphones.
I didn't talk about the name.
Yeah, because he's got two microphones, one on the left and one on the right, and so we call it Mike. And again, that's something that we've been playing around with a little bit to figure out how it works and what we think about it, and we have some fun ideas planned around that. Some of those will be audio only, because I think it's kind of cool to say, hey, whether or not you close your eyes, like, just listen and pay attention to the sounds.
ASMR cooking.
Yeah.
Cooking.
And I think it can really transport you to another place when you're focusing on it and when you listen, and kind of like Danielle was saying, like the jingle of the keys, the birds. But we also plan on doing that with cooking and some things like, hey, come have a conversation with us like you're sitting on our couch. Also, we will be doing some video game things with it as well. We have a little something called Helpful for Rocket League in the works to help teach people how to play the game Rocket League. And with that, we're going to have Mike set up on a couch. And so it'll be like you're on the couch with us. You can
come join our LAN party.
Yeah. We for research purposes, we hosted a LAN party with Mike. He was there.
Like the first time since college.
And it was a good LAN party. But yeah, having Mike on the couch right in between two people, where you'll have one person talking in your left ear, one person talking in your right ear. And
possibly those would be the people you could be playing with. On the 3-person Rocket League team.
Very possible indeed. So the binaural audio is another example of something we've kind of been dabbling in. And then one of the other exciting things we did was we went on a trip to Denver. And when I say we, I mean, in this case, Kenny and I went on a trip to Denver, and Danielle got a vacation from Reed. So it was a win-win. And
girls apart. Well, Lincoln was here. Mom and Lincoln apartment time.
Yeah, Lincoln doesn't really have a good girl name, does he? Let's come up with something for him.
Linkette.
Elle.
I don't know.
Like Elle Woods. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
But on the Denver trip, one of the biggest things that we got out of that was getting more comfortable running and gunning with their gear. So the nice thing about having the studio here is having the lights set up and the camera set up and the microphones all set up that we can come in and just press a couple of buttons and get started. But the downside of that is when all your gear just stays in the same spot and all you're doing is pressing a button every time, is it's easy to forget how to use things, how to change it, how to tweak it when you're going to the new settings and stuff like that. So much like we were talking about with getting back on the horse with the show, and we're starting to do this again, starting to get our studio shots in again. One of the things we did with our break was get out onto the road, get out into the real world, get the gear in our hands, start messing with settings, start trying new things, and we had some fun doing that. Got a lot of work in with our cameras, figuring out some stuff with stabilization. We have a gimbal, which we started to play with a little bit more, and we went up to Denver to start the conversation with what we're going to do around helpful for marijuana stuff. So how we're going to start teaching around that, and have plenty of exciting stories from that trip to share with you guys in the future. And then another thing that we kind of started to dabble in a little bit more with Denver is, okay, how do we better capture some of the things that we're doing just in our lives, and how do we also maybe partner with businesses that we interact with in our lives, to highlight the things that they're doing that we like in a nice, impressive looking way. So one of the things we were doing a lot of over there was doing some work with macro photography. So for example, we went to, there's a nice empanada place near where my brother lives, and we were getting those empanadas and taking some really cool pictures and videos from that. We also had a little bit of fun going to watch Stanton, my brother, who's a former college soccer player. Got to go watch him play some pickup, and got to be reminded of what somewhat high-level soccer can look like compared to my over 30 men's league. And so I got a little practice capturing some live sports there. And
sports ball. Yeah,
and because another reason that we did that is because we've been playing around as we've messed with this live production, and also, by the way, we're going to, in addition to helpful for Rocket League, we're also going to be doing some stuff with disc golf, because that's another one of my big hobbies is playing disc golf. And between Rocket League, between Rocket League and disc golf, Rocket League and indoor soccer are kind of like hockey, so that just connection.
Hockey League.
Hockey League, yeah. Rocket League, disc golf, maybe soccer, some of these other things. One of the other things we're talking about doing is doing some live sports casting of these events, and they could border on some just like being silly and goofy, and then others being more like instructional and teaching people. So we're starting to mess around with that a little bit as well. But one of the other ways that we've more naturally started to try and highlight the companies we deal with and the businesses we work with was just this weekend. So why don't you tell people a little bit about what we did on Friday, which led to what we did on Saturday.
Yeah, so on Friday, we have basically been saying how we want to get out on the downtown McKinney Square more and work from coffee shops, work from bars sometimes, and work from the arcade. So on Friday, we went to Habitat Plants and Coffee, and we were enjoying our lattes, and Reed saw a flyer with a QR code for an event that was happening the next day for the Kentucky Derby, and one of the wineries on the square was having an event called the Wine and Whiskey Walk. And so Reed just hopped up, walked 2 doors down, and talked to the winery. And, then they were like, oh, yeah, do you have anyone doing video content for the event? And so we showed up on Saturday and went around to the shops on the square and did multiple wine tastings, whiskey cocktail tastings, and got to hear some of the stories of the shop owners that we hadn't met before. So it was a really cool way to get plugged in with some of the physical small businesses, since we're an online small business on the square. So
Yeah, no, and that was a lot of fun and something we're looking forward to doing more of, because there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. Just also downtown here in the physical shops. Also, as we've met more people, both even within our apartment complex and also just that either come down to the square or whatnot. A lot of people working in small businesses, local businesses, which we want to do a little bit of highlighting of, and talk to people about their journeys and what they've learned. And one of the other fun developments is that with another local cafe, started to have some talks with them about potentially taking our show and doing it live in the coffee shop. So we're still in brainstorming and talking mode on that one, but that could be as soon as later this week or maybe next week. And that'll be one of our first times to take the show into someone else's establishment. For those of you who've been following us, you'll know that we've already done a show off of a houseboat, and a hotel courtyard that I snuck onto because I needed good Wi-Fi. And where else did we do it from? We did it.
The hotel.
We did it
in Tennessee.
We did it on a hotel balcony one of the days when they decided to take the giant.
The entire golf course was being mowed.
Yeah, they had not just mowed, but they had a giant like loud fan, I think, to dry off the fairways, and they were just driving around and they were like circling, like doing the roads
just back and forth
right behind where we were filming. So that was fun. So we've taken down the road a few times, but one of the things we're looking to do is starting to do it in cafes and auditoriums, and also potentially on the road outside of McKinney. So reaching out to the coffee shop, and also just having the benefit of a live audience and having people that we're interacting with and we're seeing. We're looking forward to that. But for those of you who are just our viewers online, we like you guys obviously as well. And we want to hear from you. But, if you're not in that chat, then how are we supposed to know that you're there? So say hello, ask us your questions, and, tell us to dance, do whatever you want.
And if you have any constructive criticism, you can give that all to Reed. Compliments, I'll accept.
Yes, there you go. Okay, so one of the things that we've been working on, so we have this clipping system, right? And so the idea is we are about to have 100 episodes of What the Hell is Water, which is... Yeah, where's that button? I gotta find that button again. There you go. I found it. Yes. So we have 100 episodes, which we'll be sharing more info about a little bit later. But as part of that, we're going to take those 100 episodes and use our expertise transfer machine to turn those into a bunch of small clips that we're then going to share. So, Danielle, why don't you tell us a little bit more about our marketing and what we're going to be doing now, as we go into this very important phase of our business where we can make stuff. We've already made some really good stuff. What we need now is audience and engagement, and frankly, we need you guys to buy some things. So Danielle, tell some people how we're going to do that.
Well, our marketing strategy is threefold. I feel like I don't have to go into all of the detail that I went into in my very informative company lockdown TED Talk on our super secret marketing strategy. But basically, our marketing is threefold. We've got our content marketing, which is helpful for life and getting onto podcast platforms, and then optimizing our content with search engine optimization so that people can find our content and we can get eyes on our content, and then use social media marketing to promote the content and grow our audience and join our email list. So that's kind of the flow. I did it so much better. This is the problem with having a super awesome TED Talk. Like, you just can't, recreate it on the spot. So, maybe we'll pull that out of the Otter transcript meeting notes of the secret vault and share that at some point. But for now, what you need to know is we got involved with a social media scheduler tool called Hootsuite, and it's been great so far to, you know, try and be on multiple platforms and get people, you know, if you have to pick one place to follow us, then my request for this video would be go follow us on YouTube so we can get more subscribers that unlock new features for streaming.
Yeah, so I'll talk to that for a second. So one of the frustrating things as a early starting creator is that there are limitations of platforms before you get to a certain number of subscribers. So for example, here on YouTube, we need to have 150 subscribers, I believe is the number.
That might be LinkedIn.
But no, you're right. So LinkedIn, for example, we need to have 150 subscribers on or followers on there.
Yeah, go follow our company page on
go,
LinkedIn.
Go follow us on LinkedIn because until we have 150, we cannot stream there. Here on YouTube, until we have 500 subscribers, we cannot share community posts. So that was something that we found out when we went to go take our break from the show was, oh, hey, you can't share just a regular post to tell your community that you're not going to be there for a few weeks because you don't have enough followers yet. And so to me, it's a little bit of chicken egg type of thing. Like, hey, how am I supposed to build this community and following and engage with them if I can't even share a post to them? So it's a little frustrating sometimes, but the way we can get past that is have these marketing drives where we push for you guys to go subscribe and follow and like us on all of our platforms, which we'll share we already shared the LinkedIn one in the chat. And oh, by the way, I also shared that video I was mentioning about the Play-Doh and also why dogs kind of turn their ears. Mm-hmm. So if you want to hear a little more than my 2-cent explanation of that, you can check that out in there. But yeah, please go subscribe and like us on all of these platforms. You can go undo it later, but right now is especially important. And if you've got a friend or a spouse or a girlfriend or a dog, you want to know, you get all of them.
They have accounts too now, you know?
Yeah, get all of them to, like and follow and do all that kind of stuff because we need to get to a certain point before we can get that momentum to help us grow beyond these early stages. So we really appreciate it. And oh, by the way, that costs you absolutely nothing. So please do that. So as we're working on our marketing, as we are working on what we're going to do next, one of the other things that I wanted to mention was our content ID system. So I'm going to keep this very brief for today, but I wanted to at least tease it today. So one of the things that I found frustrating with content, not just online, but offline as well, in magazines and newspapers and things like that, is when they print something or when they publish something or what have you, like there's no record of what happens after the fact. And maybe in a major news article, if they got something wrong, maybe in a future issue, they'll have a small note that says, hey, last week we messed up this one thing or we learned this new detail. But it's usually some small section that, is never has the splash that it does whenever the article is first published. So one of the things I want to help do to stop that is have this content ID system. So what we're working on is every time we publish a piece of content, we want to have a link that is tied to that content where you can go and see basically a page for each piece of content. And then as new information is found out, as new videos come out that are related to it, as other people like you and the audience come forward and say, hey, did you think about this thing? Oh, here's this source that you didn't know about. Or, oh, actually, I, know all there is to know about feces. So I should tell you that this part and this part, you should include in there. Whatever it may be, all of that is going to be tied into this content ID system. So you can easily have our content, but it also has that ability to shift and morph as time goes on. So for example, on YouTube here, when you upload a video, if you had some big change or something like that, you want to upload a new video, you'll lose all of the views and all of the algorithm magic that go with it. And so you can't really just take down a video and upload a new one unless you're going to take a big hit as far as your views and stuff go. So this content ID system is one way for us to have our content, put it out there. and then also have a way to, as we learn more and as we encourage ourselves to publish things earlier, we can add more information from experts out there and from everyday people like yourselves to make that content richer. And oh, by the way, that could be another great way for you to discover what's going to come next, what came before, what came after, as we interconnect all of our content together through that content ID system. Because basically with Helpful for Life, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to have all of this content for you guys to digest, and we're going to try and tell you, hey, here's a spot where you got interested. Well, now that you're interested in this, here's a great spot for you to go next, and here's a good path for you to go down as you work on making your life better.
A flow chart of content consumption.
Yes. So that's one of the big values we provide as a company is, a lot of people say, well, why should we, listen to you, or why should we, why you guys, basically. And one of the things that we do is we curate and we plan and we figure out, like, oh, hey, if you want to know something about this topic, we will tell you where the good sources are. We'll weed through all the crap. We'll tell you what you need to know, and we'll point you to solid sources for more info. And so we don't just say, oh, here, go watch this. We say, oh, well, maybe you should start with this, and then after that, you could go over here, and then from there, you go to this next spot. So trying to think through your entire flow. So, Danielle, anything on your mind from the last few weeks that we haven't shared yet?
I'm sure there is.
Sure
Do you have something in mind?
No, nice. I like that a lot.
I was like, if you were trying to prompt me to think of something that you were thinking of, that didn't work.
No, that wasn't a softball or anything. It was just checking in, just checking in. So one of the other things that we are going to be doing some more content around is Swipe Right. So for those who haven't heard of Swipe Right before, why don't you kind of give people a quick teaser on that?
So Swipe Right is the comprehensive guide to credit cards, and it began in 2019 when we first were working on the very little baby stages of Helpful for Life and getting the logo, and then we wanted some piece of free content to give away to people who joined our email list. So Reed started creating this credit card guide, which was like how to use credit cards better, basically. I say basically, and then this little, let's make a 3-page freebie for people turned into a 30,000 word book. And I mean, it's an interactive book. It's like a choose your own adventure book where instead of, you get to the end of the page and it's like, oh, turn to page 92. This one, it's like, oh, if this is your situation in credit, just click here. And then it takes you to the next section of the guide to keep on following the steps to, we have like infographics and flow charts of how to go about improving your credit or paying down credit card debt or maximizing like how to trade in rewards points and what's like the most efficient way and like how you get the most bang out of your points. There's so much in there. And Reed even like called the FCC, which I don't even know what that stands for, and talked to like
FTC or SEC, actually. One of those.
Football. You talked to the SEC, dang no. And yeah, so then it turned into this very, very fleshed out guide. And do you want me to tell the latest idea?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, for how to bring the credit card guide onto What the Hell is Water?
I'm still not sure. So.
Oh, well, we were talking about last night having people come on the show who have a credit card question, and then we just follow, like open up the guide and follow through it. Like we're, using the flow charts for their specific credit card scenario or whatever. And then just, showing a number of the different situations that it can guide you through.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, at this stage for our company, we've realized that, again, we've done a pretty good job of going and making some things, but we've not done the best job of telling people about these things and encouraging people to engage with them, to start getting the value out of them, and to improve their lives with them. And so that's the stage that we're at right now. The two biggest things that we have as a company that we want to make sure that you guys are taking advantage of are Kickstart Your Kitchen and Swipe Right the Guide. And as Danielle mentioned, Swipe Right is an online guide. You can go download it today for free for right now. This is one thing we've been talking about. Is this something we want to put behind a paywall or not? And right now, I very much want it to stay free, but that may not happen forever.
Because I really want to make it an ebook, and have an ebook launch.
Yeah, so that's very possible that that may happen. So
get it free now before I take over.
Danielle, the evil capitalist. But you can go to our website, helpfulforlife.com/resources, and you can see the Swipe Right the Guide is right there at the top. I'll tell you, you're going to have to put in an email address to get it, and that email address is so we can send you guys more things that are related to that. But
you can unsubscribe at any time.
You can unsubscribe at any time, yeah. We very much respect your emails and have no intention of spamming you guys or giving you anything you don't want. One of the things that we want to do is make sure that you can get updates and information on the things that you want. But if there's something that you don't want to hear about, you just tell us, and we'll make sure you don't get stuff around that. Do our best, of course. Mm-hmm. So the two big things are Swipe Right the Guide. So go check that out. And of course, we'll be adding some more content around that shortly. And then Kickstart Your Kitchen. So go to kickstartyourkitchen.com to learn more about that. And in fact, one of the things that we have for that are some sales videos that we worked pretty hard on. So that I don't think we've shared or pushed enough. So I think we will show some of those this week. Yeah. And we'll definitely share them as well on our socials. So Kickstart Your Kitchen and Swipe Right the Guide. Those are the two biggest things that we're pushing as far as content for you guys to consume. And then other things that we want from you are to like, subscribe, and share. And really the biggest things are to share and follow/subscribe on whatever platform you're on. The big ones that we have some metrics that we know we need to get to are YouTube, LinkedIn, and then we're not limited. Oh, and TikTok. I think we also need like 1,000 followers on TikTok before we can go live there. So go follow us at least on all of those, and of course wherever else is good too. So we've got people subscribing, we've got people using Swipe Right and buying Kickstart Your Kitchen. Another thing that we want is we want people here live with us during the show. Again, as we mentioned about doing the coffee shop and having some people in person, like we think that would be cool. But also just during our audio, or not our audio only, our online only shows, we want to make sure that we're having people here online engaging with us. We want to be asking more questions of you guys, getting more interaction with you guys. So please make sure that if you can, even if just for a little while, come hop on, say hi. It also helps us stay happier, better, knowing that there are humans on the other side of this magical box. So go there, come watch, engage in all the comments and such, and you can also submit things through our website.
And you can go to h4l.live to see when we're live.
Yes,
whenever.
h4l.live, which we'll share in the chat, is a website. So H letter H, number 4, the letter L, .live. And it has us.
L is for the way we look on screen.
I like it.
I is for
the internet, it seems.
On which we stream. No.
Yeah.
Did I rhyme stream with stream?
That was good. I like it. Who cares?
There we go.
Own it. So yeah, we should be there right now on that website. We're embedded, and there's a calendar on there which will be updated with our schedule as well. Other than that, testimonials. Before we have some large audience with copious customers and things like that, if this is an ask, largely for people who know Danielle and me personally. So if you know Danielle or me personally, we're going to be sending out a form and sharing on our website some of the nice things that people say about us. Because one of the things that other humans like to hear is, why should they trust Danielle and Reed and Hopeful for Life? And so we want to get a little bit of help from our friends, to quote Beatles or whoever that was, so we can get by with a little help of our friends.
That is the Beatles. You are correct.
Well, Danielle, any other things popping in your head from the last couple of months, or things that we are going to be doing going forward?
No, I think that was a lot.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds good. Well, the only other thing I had on my list was just a little teaser on the Rome and Notion stuff that we've been doing. But I will save that for another day.
Okay.
But the short answer on that is it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and maybe the challenge for today could be well, do we have an episode where we talk a little bit about what Rome research is or what Notion is, to like just start planting the seeds in people's minds? Or I'm trying to think.
We've definitely talked about that. We'll see if we can find one of those to share.
Mm-hmm.
But
but we've already got plenty of challenges for today.
I'm gonna selfishly keep our challenge at go subscribe
on YouTube.
First priority. Go subscribe on YouTube if you're not already, and then LinkedIn, TikTok. Those are kind of the top 3 right now. And if you're not following us on
Instagram's probably a good like central hub where we can easily we link to all the other platforms. Yeah, probably Instagram's a main one.
I would say YouTube is the best spot for consuming our live content, anything horizontal, as we say.
Yes.
Landscape mode. All of our episodes and videos and things like that will go on YouTube, and that's going to be the main place for long form video and things like that. Instagram is definitely the place for sharing all of our posts. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok will all be used to share short videos that are less than 10 minutes. And then, yeah, we're going to be streaming on LinkedIn once we can. And
Twitch.
And yeah, we're already on Twitch. So if you're into the gaming stuff, for sure, make sure to go follow us on Twitch.
That'll be big.
Hey, Red Dead 2 for life.
Yeah. Is my stream still up?
Probably, yeah. So if you haven't seen it yet, Danny,
that's something I forgot about. That happened in the last 2 weeks.
Yes, as a part of what we've been working on, getting our streaming setup going. So we started to get it to where we can stream both Xbox and PC, and both with or without our friend Mike, and Danielle had a fun little Red Dead Redemption 2 session, which was in the late hours of the evening. So, and it's Danielle, so who knows exactly what all she said or exactly how sponsor friendly
I definitely used more than my one allowed fuck per what the hell is water.
So if you're curious what happened over there, you can go check that out. At the very least, if we haven't already, we need to share that screenshot. Danielle is a very emotive video game player, and if you've ever played like Mario Kart with someone or a racing game, where they just like turn their entire body as they're doing it, it's kind of like that.
You must stand up to fight the wolves with your controller.
Yes, so she had to stand up to fight the wolves. So yes, Ghost Floof over on Twitch, we see you, and they said that LOL is the saddest and most amazing game ever.
Yep, especially mine. It's pretty sad. No.
Well, Red Dead Redemption 2, for those who aren't aware, is like a explorative game where you're basically like a cowboy in the Wild West, and it's an open world where you can go on this adventure with this crew who you're kind of following, and you're kind of outlaws. But are you a good person? Are you a bad person?
Yeah. And the reason why I really want to start playing it is because it was talked up and supposedly the best video game experience of horseback riding that was available, and also getting to capture and like tame wild horses. And yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah. No, it's I haven't played it that much, but seeing Danielle play it is very amusing, and it's also has a lot of like cinematic scenes and stuff like that. So, that's one thing about video games I think a lot of people don't realize is a video game can be a lot like a TV show or a movie, where it's like a series and there's a story and there's characters, and it's not just about the buttons you're pressing. And Danielle actually is someone who's grown more in the video games she's played over the last few years, because when she first started playing Red Dead, it was quite amusing.
Oh, I had never played an Xbox game before, so I was learning the Xbox controller while also learning how to play Red Dead. And I've never played like a shooter game before where you're like aiming with one joystick and then looking around with the other joystick, and I'm like, I am just all over the place. And still am, but getting better.
Yeah, Ghost Floof was talking about how their wife was holding the controller upside down or something like that. And so there are some fun things like that where, especially as a gamer and you're watching someone else, it's like, yeah, I feel so smart because I know what I'm doing. And then seeing you flail around, always makes me, builds the ego up a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And then I feel like one of the reasons I want to play video games is those games that have the more like narrative stories behind them, versus Rocket League, for example.
Yeah.
Not to poo-poo on Rocket League, but I just don't see myself getting into Rocket League. So I'll do the Red Dead content, and you'll do the helpful for Rocket League, and it'll be great.
There you go. So to take us out, we wanted to show off our silicone ears.
No, introduce you to Mike.
Yes, maybe we'll put him right here. There we go. So here we have Mike. As you can see, it's an ear and an ear. Oh, here, Danielle, hold it up next to your face.
Oh.
Get a close up.
Here, it will replace my ear. Voila.
So this is the fun device, one of the two that we mentioned that will allow us to, just like right now, it's sitting on the couch and Danielle is in the left ear and I would be in the right ear. And so whenever you listen to something where we've used the binaural microphone, we'd highly recommend that you
sound like you're sitting right here.
Right. And you should use headphones for the best experience, because it'll sound like you're in the room with us. So yeah, really looking forward to doing that. Both in video games, cooking, all sorts of other things. Well, Ghost Floof, thank you so much for chatting with us today, and thanks for the shout out there at the beginning. Scott, we appreciate it. And any other last things, Danielle, before we head out? So make sure to please take us up on our challenge. This is the most selfish one that we've had yet, I think. This one is doing the short work of following us and subscribing us to help us out so we can better help you guys out and better engage with a larger audience and hear from the many amazing people who are out there. And we hope that everyone out there has a lovely day.
Happy Monday!
Happy Monday.
you.